Hey everybody, in today's video, we're going to be talking about drywall repair. That's right, there are a lot of times in our household where things happen. You open a door too hard, there's a little rough housing, and there's a little, a nick in the wall or a dent or a hole. And sometimes those need to be fixed. And not just for the aesthetics, but if you're renting, you need to clean that up and get a nice coat of touch-up paint on there as soon as you possibly can. So what I wanted to focus on today is kind of a few of the things that can help you do this rather quickly and without a huge expense. When you look at it, I have three different types of products here. Of course, I have a pre-made drywall patch repair kit. This is made by Dex. They actually include all of the things that you need, including a small plastic putty knife to apply spackle and onto the new patch that you're making here with with this patch kit that they have. It takes roughly an hour at most to get everything that you need done with something like this. The nice thing about the spackle that comes with it is the Drydex goes on pink and then it dries white. You know it's dry when it's turned the white color. So that's option number one. Option number two is tape. Let's say in your house, instead of rough housing damage or obviously a door ding, you have something where you have a crack, like along I don't know, a tape line, a seam line, but your foundation settling, so it's literally torn your drywall. This actually can be applied in a wide roll using the same kinds of products, either the Drydex or even a wallboard compound, which I have here. And you apply this tape over it, and then you use something called a knockdown knife on top of it to get it so that it essentially lays smooth, and then you can apply some texturing to it as you need it, which you can also do with this knockdown knife. You can actually apply, most people have an orange peel finish, you can actually apply that finish with this tape and this knockdown knife. So that's the other kinds of options that you have there. And then of course you have, for major holes, you're gonna need wallboard compound, and you're gonna need something to fill that space. Now usually that requires knocking out a significant portion of the wall, hopefully to the studs wherever this major hole is, and putting in a new piece of drywall, and then of course doing pretty much a whole makeover on that area of the wall. You would still use something like this tape, although you could probably just use seam tape, but this would be a nice thing to get a nice level, even looking patch in your wall with this kind of a knife, and of course a larger knife to actually apply the wallboard compound. But there's a lot that you can do in order to make these kinds of fixes or repairs. So just keep that in mind. You have lots of different options when it comes to this. These pre-made kits are probably what most people will go for, considering they do about, they do about 90% of the damage you're gonna have on your drywall. So there's our options. We're gonna focus on the smaller ones today. I'll show you how to fix a door ding in your wall real quickly. And then of course, obviously those door dings happen usually because we have bent or broken door stoppers that are usually attached to the baseboard, sometimes to the hinges themselves. But we will of course get right on this, so let's build it. Okay, so today, like I said, it's going to be a very simple repair, something that anybody can do relatively quickly. You want to go through the patching process the same way, no matter how large the hole is, up to the size of your fist or baseball or something similar. We bought a pre-made kit that will handle a 4x4 inch hole. We don't need all of that because we're only going to be focusing on this door ding right here. Now, this ding is pretty easy to fix. It's going to take about, 5-10 minutes, not counting the drying time, which can be up to 20 minutes depending upon the relative humidity in the air. We'll be using the pink stuff that I described, the Drydex spackle, which is this stuff right here. Works pretty well. I'm not sponsored by them. I wouldn't mind a sponsorship, but at least they do make quality products, and I've used their spackle products many, many times. It's wonderful because you know when it's dry because it goes from pink to white. Pretty easy to know when you're ready to sand and paint. So let's get started with this real quick. We don't actually need the patch itself. This is small enough that this Drydex dry deck stuff will actually handle this. The spackle itself could just fill this hole. You just fill that hole very easily, but I want to show you the entire process. So the patch looks like this. You have a front and a back. The front and the back are different. Not that much different, not that it really will matter, but there's a little bit of texture, more texture on one side than the other. Now, as you can see, this particular patch is the 4x4. We don't need it. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this into about that much space. We're going to do maybe, what is that? 1.5 inches, 2 inches. We'll just do 2 inches. You can see this had been repaired before, and it reminds me that I need to replace the doorstop that's on the baseboard. So grab our regular pair of scissors. We don't need anything special. Regular pair of scissors. We're going to cut out an approximately 1 inch by 1 inch square patch. Da-da-da. As you can see here, pretty straightforward. Sweet. And the instructions, if you read them, which most people don't, which is why I'm doing this video actually, is to take a little bit of this spackle. You could want to, the technical term I think is back butter, but you, like what you would do with tile you're replacing in a shower or whatever. But we're going to go ahead and apply this to the back of the patch. If we get it to stick. Apply a little bit of stuff to the hole. It's really important to feather your work so that when you paint, it comes out looking nice on the patch. You can wear gloves for this. It's honestly not necessary. But this is going to make a nice robust patch for you. You don't want to go too thick, but you do want to get good coverage. Get it to the point where it's gonna do you the best, the most good. I need that to disappear a little bit more. Let's add a little more to this one side over here. It's always good to put extra light on your work so you can see any shadows that there might be. I'm slowly dragging the putty knife over this, which could save me some time later, mimicking the orange peel that's on the existing wall. And that's it. We're ready. And that's a good tip, is to lightly go over the area, drawing down across it so that you can maybe make it look like the orange peel that's already on this wall, at least as far as the finish of the wall is. A lot of times you'll have smooth drywall, which means you want a smooth finish, which means you can just sand. But again, this is a textured wall done with orange peel, which just means it's just a fancy way of dragging a knife over a finished drywall with a little bit of mud residue, drywall compound, and basically making this pattern of splotches on the wall. Give you some texture, makes the wall more interesting. It also looks better when it's painted, for what it's worth. But let's check this out after it dries. So wait 20 minutes. There we go. Okay, so we've allowed this to dry. It's pretty dry now. It's not quite exactly what I want, but that's the good thing about the product is we can go over it a few times and get it exactly how we want it to look. We're going to use the provided sandpaper now and try to get this all, you know, flat, lay it down a little bit. There's a little bit of pink here, but it should be fine. So just lightly sand it to take the rough edges off and see if we can get it to match the background. It's really close to being ready to paint. I just don't like the fact that some of these little holes are still visible. But as you can see, it does a pretty good job of taking off the firm edges and such. So maybe a little bit more. We'll go over it again, just with a little bit more, sand it down, and we should be pretty close to done. Kind of fun. Get this all done, get it painted up. It'd be totally worth it. Okay, at this point, this is dry. I don't know that we're gonna get a lot better than what we have right now. I don't mind the two little bumps that are here. I don't mind this overall. It's been sanded and the edges are cleaned up and feathered. And it looks like it's part of the texturing. I feel like we could actually go ahead and paint this and it would be good. Adding the paint over the top finishes this project out. And that's how easy it is to fix one of these door dings. Now, if you have a bigger hole, something fist size, softball size, something like that, that 4-inch patch kit will work for you. You don't have to worry about it. You can apply it, cut it to the size that you need, do the same steps, back butter, you know, fill what you can, back butter your patch, put it in place on the wall, stick it down there good, smooth it all out, then apply your spackle. Allow it to dry. Maybe that probably you'll want to do 2 coats on, especially the edges to feather around the edges. But you can do the same thing. And not only that, at the hardware store, you can actually get patches that are bigger than the 4x4 hole. If you have something bigger, they have some bigger patches. You can also use the tape that I showed you earlier and all of that. Hopefully this is a simple way that you can fix any of these small minor problems around your property, and just a quick coat of touch-up paint and you're done. You can also use the same spackle to fix any nail holes or anything like that that you have for mounting things. And as it dries, you do the same technique. A little bit of sanding, make it match the wall as much as you can if you're trying to match the orange peel, and then paint it up and you should be good. And that's it. It's just that simple. Hopefully this video was useful to you, and now or in the future, you can always come back and watch it again. I appreciate all the views. I appreciate the growth in the channel. We're over 200 subscribers now, as quickly as I could have hoped for, and I imagine we'll grow faster than that going forward. Obviously, you can do all of this. Don't let anything intimidate you. And until then, just build it.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Cultured Builds. Let's build it.